When it comes to data fetching, all the business logic will be kept in its own dedicated service called the Firestore service. Let's go ahead and create a new file in the services directory called firestore.dart. At the top of that file, we'll import Dart async, as well as Cloud Firestore, and a package called RxDart. You'll want to make sure that you have RxDart uncommented in your PubSpec YAML file. RxDart provides a few utility functions that make it much easier to work with streams, especially when you need to combine them together. I find it pretty much essential when working with streaming data from Firebase, and you'll see why in just a minute. From there, I'm defining a Firestore service, and I'm adding a private variable to it called _db, just to make things a little more concise so we don't have to type out Firebase Firestore.instance every time. The first query that we'll want to make is to fetch a list of documents from the topics collection. When the user logs in, they go to the topics screen where they're greeted with a list of documents which are retrieved from the topics collection. We define a method called getTopics, and notice how it returns a future that is a list of topics, the topic coming from the models that we generated in the previous video. The first requirement whenever reading data from Firestore is to make a reference to that location in the database. In our case, it is the topics collection. We can then read that collection one time by calling ref.get. When using get, you won't have a real-time listener on the collection, but that's not something we really need in this case because we just want to read the topics and then we don't really care about any future updates to that data. A snapshot contains some extra metadata that we don't really care about for each document. So we loop over each document using map and convert the snapshot into the raw data by calling its data method. That will give us a list or iterable of maps, but what we actually want is a list of topics. So one final step is to then map that data into a topic by using its from.json constructor that was automatically created by the JSON serializable package. So that's how we get a list of topics, but then the user will want to click on a quiz in that topic and then navigate to the quiz page. That means we'll need another method here called getQuiz that takes a quiz ID as an argument to retrieve one single document. Retrieving a single document is actually much simpler than retrieving a collection. We first make a reference to that quiz by going to the quizzes collection, followed by the quiz ID, and then get the snapshot by calling ref.get. That returns a dynamic map, so we'll convert it to an actual quiz model by using its from.json constructor and passing it the map as its argument. And if the snapshot happens to be null, then we'll pass an empty map instead. That's how you perform basic reads to collections and documents in Firestore. In the next video, we'll look at some more advanced situations like reading a real-time stream and how to connect the currently authenticated user to their data.